instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The sound of the organ. The crack of the bat.
It is gone.
The sight of watching the ball go over the wall. And the taste of peanuts and Cracker Jacks. There's nothing like it. Play ball! It's America's pastime. From the first pitch to the final out, you can hear every game right here on your home for Alabama baseball.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Alabama's workers are the backbone of our state. You put in the hours, nights, weekends. Right now, your overtime pay is tax-free. But unless lawmakers make it permanent, it'll cost Alabamians $300 million in taxes July 1st. That's money ripped from the pockets of those who work the hardest. Tell Montgomery, make the overtime tax exemption permanent. Call your legislator today. Protect your paycheck.
Paid for by AFL-CIO PAC Montgomery.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhower here. We're extremely proud that Baumhower's Victory Grille has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhower's Victory Grille, legendary fun, legendary food.
From Coleman to Fayetteville and all points in between.
Son, pull the hammer back. Smokey's coming at you in a plain white wrapper.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone. WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Back here at Baumhower's Victory Grill. Been a minute since we've been here, a couple of weeks, but we get on those weird patterns because of a month. Anyway, the last 2 weeks, Tom Abraham was right here. Do I have to introduce Tom Abraham as now the, I guess we're the flagship of the Tom Abraham Show, now that he is on in 2 different markets now, Nashville, Winchester, Huntsville, all 3.
I'm looking around. I wrote down this 800 number here a minute ago.
Little us, we're just in Huntsville.
Yeah, I lost his 800 number. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, he's the czar. That's what he's known as, the czar, right?
Yeah, he is definitely known as the czar. He is. If you would like to call in with your deviations, I mean your takes, you can call in if you'd like to at 256-576-4977, the telephone number. It's Brian Temple back at the ranch.
Hey, how are you?
And I'm sure he wishes he was right here as you are taking a look. That's the cam above us on WZZN TV. Ella doesn't know yet, but you know.
Hey, I gotta tell you, I reiterate what I said the other day. You could do very well following these guys around town and just eat where they eat, because
I said her name and she just started thinking I was talking to her. So my apologies.
So you guys were at Carrabba's Monday.
I know.
And so we had Carrabba's for dinner, and now you guys are at Baumhower's. We're probably gonna have Baumhower's for dinner. You're looking at full moon tomorrow. Probably gonna have full moon tomorrow night.
There you go.
It's a full week.
You know, I'm gonna be very, very fat and happy by the end of the week.
Yeah, I beat you there.
Coming up on the program today, Coach Colley, Antonio Langham, going to join us in hour number 2. That'll be a whole lot of fun. But there was some news made today by a Alabama native, and that is George Pickens, who was traded to the Dallas Cowboys. So one George for another George. George Pickens with the trade. George Teague is going to join us in about 10 minutes' time to go over that and see how that might fit in with the Cowboys, who are already kind of neck deep in their own division with what's going on with the Eagles, certainly. We saw what Washington did last year, and the Giants look like a hot mess, at least to me, right now. So
are they any worse than the Cowboys? Was it
that's fighting for the hot mess?
So the Cowboys, the first game last year, I forgot who they played, but they looked good, and after that, they just looked horrible. I mean, and I don't know. It's to me, I don't think they could ever win with their quarterback. I think
Dak, you're not a Dak believer?
No, I just think he's over. I don't think he's a bad quarterback.
Serviceable.
Well, I mean, you paid.
They beat the Browns last week in week 1.
Why are you paying him $60 million? Why? He is not a $60 million quarterback. Well, and then that affects your whole rest of your team.
We'll talk about that with George Teague coming up here. There is another quarterback position that we have chronicled pretty well over the last month, and another weigh-in today from Urban Meyer on the Tennessee situation. Vol fans, Urban Meyer is not a fan of the Iamaleava Aguilar trade. I'll let Urban Meyer explain on the Triple Option podcast that was put out there for all of us to enjoy this afternoon.
The first trade that I'm aware of in college football history, they traded 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
How about saying that? You just traded a quarterback.
They're not going to call it a trade, but that's what it was.
So I went and watched Aguilar because I wanted to familiarize. I love Appy State, but the reality is it's not as you're stepping in the SEC.
Yeah.
So everybody's at least a step, maybe at most positions 2 steps faster. And when you have 24 interceptions, that's about one per game. That's way too many. And those interceptions now, the pockets or the windows just are so much tighter.
Yeah.
I will go back on record again as saying Tennessee's screwed. Now you can get unscrewed real fast if that team develops. But as of whatever the date is, May, we're in the get screwed category.
How about that sentence right there?
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, you
can
said
get unscrewed.
Yeah,
You're screwed, but you can get unscrewed.
That's yeah.
I mean, which is
in other
it,
words,
Coach?
he's not predicting anything. He got through a lot of interceptions, no doubt.
He did,
but I don't know if he watched the tape or just looked that he threw a lot of interceptions.
He did also have this to say. Please forgive me for not editing Tweedledum's statement right here.
Come unscrewed real fast.
Sure.
Right. So they need to take out the WD-40 and loosen up some of that rust. Get after that screw and unscrew it and get out of there. But we got him right now at a fuzzy math 8 wins. A very fuzzy math.
And then Nico's out signing autographs in Westwood.
He hasn't thrown the ball yet for the Bruins, has he?
And I heard he's supposed to be some practices or something. I don't know. I just heard from people.
The Lakers and the Clippers had playoff games, Coach. He's busy.
Yeah.
He's got things to do, man.
Get your butt in the huddle, man. Let's go.
So,
I think Tennessee would kill UCLA. So, and I don't think Tennessee's going to. Obviously, Tennessee, if you talk to anybody that we've talked to, they didn't have high hopes for Tennessee this year anyway. They think it's a rebuilding year, whatever that means. I don't know. I thought
they went through it game by game, and that Vegas has dropped down Tennessee from 9.5 wins to 8.5 wins. But they went through it, and you heard them say right there, they have them at 8 wins for Tennessee this year.
Yeah, so I thought they overperformed last year. I thought the coach did a hell of a job putting that team together. They were very deep defensively. Yeah, I mean,
year.
but they just I didn't think they had a playoff team, and they went to the playoffs. So
sure did.
And then they disappointed in the playoffs, played horrible in the playoffs.
But the horse that they rode was injured.
Yeah, he was injured, and the quarterback was negotiating for more money to play in the game. So that's a lot of distractions going on. I just and they got they went into a buzzsaw. A lot of Tennessee people paid.
Well, it was right after they lost to Michigan. So, I mean, they were foaming at the mouth.
Yeah. People make more big deal about that kind of stuff than anything, I think.
Too much made about that?
Yeah, because Ohio State's just a good football team.
I didn't say they weren't a good football team.
They ended up winning the national championship.
Yeah.
They just beat Tennessee's butt. It didn't matter that they got beat before or after. It's just
the fact that they had an L in their last game had nothing to do with what they did to Tennessee.
Just the ass whipping. They were just that much better than Tennessee. Tennessee was lucky to be there. And you look back and you can see it. I mean, they were fortunate to beat Alabama. They could one more loss in a bunch of those games. They're not there. So, yeah, I don't, the Tennessee guys, but I was impressed with how many Tennessee fans ended up in the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
At Ohio State.
If anything,
yeah. So anyway, but I'm a Heupel fan. I think he's a good coach. He somehow is going to have to get over the hump though, and they pay a quarterback. They paid him $5 million to be there 2 years. They can't do that, and that was an error. Obviously, it's easy to say now. I thought it was an error then. I said so. I think it's different if they're getting really NIL money. But even that affects the team. It takes a lot to keep a team together. Look at all these NFL teams and all the problems they have keeping, there's so many distractions. There's so many distractions anyway. You had agents, all these people calling you. You have to still have to go to school to be eligible. It's a lot to it. And now there's even more with the money and people calling you for money. And I can't imagine. It'd be horrible. These kids aren't ready for that.
you stumbled on something there that just I went and had a brainstorm. I wonder if you're Ohio State, whether or not you can find out if you bought your season tickets, but you sold them to Tennessee fans.
Oh yeah,
whether or not that was like maybe
they were going for a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah,
and all they did is wait a week and go to the next game. They paid for the rest of their season. So yeah, but I was impressed with Tennessee fans. They were excited. They had a right to be excited. I was excited for them. I was pulling for them.
Yeah.
But I don't think I watched any of the second half. You didn't have to.
No,
the game was over the first half.
Yeah. And it looked very cold up there for that game as well. Anyway, George Teague is set to join us on the other side of our first time out. We're live here from Baumhower's Victory Grille. So come on by. We're here till about 6:30-ish, walking you up to Braves baseball. Braves winners last night in extras over the Reds.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ford Motor Company. From America, for America. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford with a real quick quiz. Out of all the manufacturers, do you know which auto company employs the most hourly workers in America? Ford. Do you know which company assembles the most vehicles in this country? Ford. That's not just a coincidence. It's a commitment. A 120-year-old commitment to build in America for America. And during this unprecedented moment in automotive history, you stand to benefit big time. Woody Anderson Ford is now offering employee pricing. You pay what we pay. We've got over 190 F-150s for you to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Employee pricing can save you thousands off MSRP, and with over 600 Fords for you to choose from, there's a good chance you'll find just exactly what you're looking for. This offer ends May 31st, so hurry in. Woody Anderson Ford.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
You guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beams likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here at Baumhower's Victory Grill, went over to John Hunt Park just down the road here. The boys and girls soccer championships going on. Congratulations to Gunnersville as the Gunnersville boys down Boaz 5-1. Senior A.J. Shoemate scored 3 goals in the win for the Wildcats as they move on. Shoemate now has 48 goals on the season, became the AHSA's all-time boys soccer scoring leader earlier this year. Goodness, 48 goals. That is impressive.
Very impressive.
For A.J. Shoemate. So
who won?
Gunnersville, down Boaz, 5-1 there.
So, you know why they call it John Hunt Park?
No. I mean, I would imagine for John Hunt, but
right.
I mean.
He's buried there somewhere.
Is he really?
They're not really sure where, though. That's reportedly buried there. So
is this a Jimmy Hoffa situation?
No, I don't think. I mean, it's just, over the years, they can't find the graves.
For $1,000, I'll show you where the grave is. For $1,000.
So this is a heck of a turn here. There was some news made earlier today by the Dallas Cowboys as an Alabama native in George Pickens from Hoover is now a Dallas Cowboy. George Teague is on the Neighbors Wealth Management hotline to discuss that as well as all things Dallas Cowboys. How are you, sir?
I'm going to be better when y'all drop ship me some of those wings that y'all got over there. Y'all teasing me, listening to the ads and stuff. I need some of the wings, man.
Well, I promise if you were right here, we'd set you up.
Yeah.
Although
when you're in Huntsville, you can give me a call, and the wings are on the house.
If you can throw down like Bobby Lee Hurt can throw down, then I'll be very impressed. George
nobody get the wings like Bobby Lee Hurt. That's impossible. George missed Bobby Lee though. George was after Bobby. Do you know Bobby Lee, George?
Bobby Lee? Am I supposed to know Bobby Lee? I don't know.
He played at
basketball.
Basketball at Alabama. He's from this area.
Him and Hoss Johnson played on the same basketball team in high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Bobby Lee played at Alabama, and you wouldn't know him. So
my apologies, George.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Anyway, George, tell me this: are the Dallas Cowboys ever going to be back in the Super Bowl? Ever?
Ever. Yes, they will.
Well, will you be alive to see it?
Well, it's been a long 30 years or whatever, and I feel like that I still got some life left, and I think at some point we're going to get the coach right. We're going to get the trade right. We're going to get the draft right. And the stars will align, baby, and it will come back to Dallas.
So,
my trophy is coming back, baby.
Yeah. So, my thing is, and I'm going to that they pay Dak Prescott too much money. I think $60 million is too much for him. I don't think he is. I don't think he can get him there unless he has a better stat of people around him. What say you?
Okay, so I do think that I agree with you on the point that I think that they overpaid him. There's no way. I didn't think Jerry would get to that point. They would pay that much just to try to set a record on, giving the highest paid quarterback forever. I don't think he's a good quarterback, and I understand maybe he's in the top 10, 11 type quarterback, but not $60 million worth, particularly when you have to give him enough weapons to do that. So at times, watching the film, and I get the opportunity to watch it a lot, being an analyst for them, I see a lot of good things, a lot of flashes, and sometimes you just look so good, and then another series you go, what in the world just happened, and why did he throw that ball, or why didn't he throw the other one? So I don't think he has the chip on the shoulder, Wes, that you typically see in a quarterback. They're all reserved and nice, but I don't think he has that that gutsy piece to say, hey man, I can make every one of these throws, and I got the dudes that can catch it. So now that he hurt his leg, I'm not quite sure that he can. We're going to have somebody else to lean on, a running back probably to take it to the promised land.
What do you think of the trade, the Pickens trade, and the fit that he would potentially have in this offense this fall?
Well, I like our Alabama guy. I do like Pickens. I think that it's a great choice. Right now, I know everyone's been saying, "Well, come with a little baggage. He's a little emotional. He got some issues, with just maybe the way he's acted in games at certain times." I'm gonna say, what athlete do we know? I'm sure y'all been around Wes. I'm pretty sure he got a little emotional on this show every now and again, and probably said something he probably wasn't supposed to say, because the athletes are kind of wired a little bit different, right? It's can you manage them and what can you do there? I think he is a threat. This guy has had 1,000-yard seasons, 900. He is a deep threat, which is what the Cowboys need. He can definitely do that. I think with the Steelers, he hasn't had the quarterback stability, whether or not you think the quarterbacks he had were as good as Dak Prescott or not. I think, I think that he's set up a little bit different for that. I think Jerry Jones thinks he's set up well enough that he can take care of a guy like this. You think about some of the players that we've had with the Cowboys, the Dez Bryants, maybe they're not necessarily the same, but just thinking about the attitude, right? Even C.D. Lamb a little bit, the Michael Irvins. There's plenty of others. The Terrell Owens, that have all come through here. He figures he thinks he can help them be successful. So I'm in favor of it from a talent standpoint. What I do worry about is this is another wide receiver we've given a draft up for with a 1-year contract left. He's at the end of his rookie deal. I don't know if that's smart to give up a third round for someone you're either that's going to play, not necessarily for you. He's going to play for a contract, and he could potentially be gone. So I don't like that part.
George Pickens to me has been the most inconsistent player with a lot of talent. He has a lot of talent. Wildly talented. But, he was inconsistent at Georgia.
Yeah.
He's been inconsistent at Pittsburgh. I think he gets frustrated because of like what you said, they hadn't been able to get him the ball enough. And maybe Dak can do it. I'm not sure. To me, Dak, when the pressure gets on him, that's when he has trouble making plays. Like you said, what in the world is he doing? It seems like it's always in a big pressure situation where he has to drive to win the game, and he hasn't been able to do that consistently.
That's true. But you know what Dak has had, though, and I know it's about George, or what Dak hasn't had, is the number 2 wide receiver. When we had Brandon Cooks, who was healthier at that time, he was a good, viable number 2. Obviously, he fell off a little bit because we already know everybody's going to be trying to guard CeeDee Lamb. I think what you said is widely talented. Can he be consistent? George Pickens has to know that he's going to be the number 2 wide receiver, right? But can he expand in that role like T. Higgins or Devontae Smith, something of that nature where you're going to get your shots down the field. You're going to get your shots with the ball as long as you can get the separation. One of the other stats that I like, compliments of next-gen stats, is George Pickens catches the ball at a very high rate when he's covered in tight windows. So a lot of times we're thinking, I just got to be wide open to catch it. That's not true. So I think if we're doubling or teams are doubling Prescott, that they'll be able to get the ball and, throw the ball to Pickens when, more often and give him a chance to be a little bit more consistent.
Well, so, George, it seems to me that last year Dallas also had trouble stopping the run and wasn't able to run it very well. To me, if you're going to be a playoff team with a chance, you got to be able to run the ball and you got to stop the run. what do you think Dallas is taking care of that in the offseason?
Okay, so I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm saying no. People are going to disagree with me, and I'll tell you why, right? Because they did pick up Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams, so 2 veteran running backs. I just feel like we're putting a Band-Aid on who the running backs are. I'd rather try to get a workhorse or a stable back that we know is going to be the difference maker. Both of those guys have had pretty good NFL careers, but I feel like we're kind of putting a Band-Aid on the running back thing. That's me personally. So I'm not sure. Now, getting Tyler Booker, our boy from Bama, that's actually going to help our run game. That's for sure. But are we going to have the guy that can be explosive and take one of these runs to the house? I'm not really sure. On the defensive side, stopping the ball, man, we got a linebacker crew that's banged up other than Micah, right? Those other guys, we're still not totally proven there. So that kind of scares me a little bit on who are we going to have? Are they all coming back healthy? And how are we going to get Micah's deal done? So I am a little bit concerned about how you stop the run on defense at this point without the appropriate linebackers to be a force in the middle.
Talking to George Teague right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. You mentioned Book, that first-round selection, the 12th overall pick there, and was that at all surprised to see them go Booker with that high of a pick in the first round?
No, I'm going to need a little bit of that wealth management money y'all talking about, because I actually picked this pick back, months ago. I was kind of asked on what we thought we would do, and I actually hit that one on the head. So I felt good about, like, if Booker's there, that the Cowboys should take him, and they did. I know there was talk, well, should it be a running back? Should it be a wide receiver? But the way the Cowboys are, you lose 2 all-pro or Pro Bowl people, essentially, Hall of Fame guys, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin. You lose some more of the free agency. You don't have any depth. You got to have people to do that. So I think it was the right pick, and I think they got the best, guard to draft to do that. And that's how I think this time
he's a good dude, and he's a good player.
Yeah, and a great team guy too.
Yeah.
He was a lot of that glue along that O-line, so it's a solid pick. There's no questioning that, George. It just but the rest of the draft, a couple of picks for running backs. Jadon Blue, most notably from Texas, but Phil Maffa in particular, the Clemson tailback, that could be intriguing. At least it's something that popped on my radar. What do you think about in terms of loading up? Not just what they did in those pickups that you mentioned, one from Carolina with Sanders, and you mentioned Williams as well, the Broncos pickup, but the 2 pickups in the draft there for the running back room.
I'm excited about it, honestly. I'm really more excited about the Jadon Blue. I didn't get a chance to watch him play and see it. But I think it's going to make for a great camp, because you can't keep all these backs that they got. I don't know what the roster numbers are and how many they're going to actually try to keep. So competition should be pretty stout there. And, what does that mean for – do they keep both of these guys that they got in free agency plus the 2 draft picks? Plus Deuce Vaughn and Malik Davis, and man, golly, that's a lot of backs. So maybe it creates for some nervousness from them. So I'm keeping my eye on Jadon Blue, actually, to see how he emerges. But guys, it really going to come down to what Schottenheimer does with the running game, and what does he try to establish. Does he really stick with it, or now are we trying to feed Dak again? All right, we got Pickens, we got CD, got some good tight ends. Are they going to try to sling the ball around, or is he actually going to try to have a running identity like we need to have, like Wes was mentioning?
Was there any discussion that you know of? Because we certainly know about the relationship that Jerry Jones has with Deion Sanders. Was there any talk? I thought maybe we could have seen Shedeur Sanders get drafted by Dallas? Was there? You tell me, George. Was there any discussion on Shedeur being drafted by the Cowboys?
From the discussions that I've had from some people close to the organization, it was not really in the thought process to actually do that. Once we got Joe Moulton in, that kind of diminished that a little bit. And, Jerry and those guys' relationship with Primetime is, although it is a good one, I think it could have been. Jerry Jones's ego is big enough, and I don't think Jerry Jones wanted to have a room with Sanders in it that was going to cloud the ego space.
The ego space.
There's not enough room for.
That sounds like his fantasy football team.
Yeah. So, what do you think? What's your prediction on Dallas's record this year?
Dude, have you seen that schedule the Cowboys got? Boss. I think.
Well, the actual schedule comes out, I think, next week on the 14th, but we know who's playing who. So yeah.
Dude, this could realistically be a 8-win team, 9-win team. Just on paper, I don't think we're as good as a lot of these teams. You're going to have to outcoach some people and try to put some things together. So, if you're asking me today, I think the Cowboys go 9-8. Sitting at home, playoff.
So when do they give up on this? On the, I guess the Dak Prescott $60 million deal.
Jerry Jones is never going to give up on that deal. You got to get his mind right. Okay, so there's two pieces. There's the players, right? Jerry Jones is very loyal to his guys, and when he does something like this, Dak is going to be his guy, and he's going to at least give you the smoke and mirrors that he's trying to do everything possible to be able to help support him and make him successful. Now that he's done it, if they weren't going to let him go, now with a coaching change or try to trade him off or something, I'm not sure you can do it. So how many years does he have left on his contract? 2? Maybe?
I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, I think there's still a few, significant years, and he's young that, you got to ride this out. And so I don't think he lets go of that. I think he is sold and all in that he just got to put pieces around it. Linemen. Now he's going to tell you, hey, I got 2 good wide receivers. I got 3 good tight ends. I've gone and got running backs. So it's almost seemed like it should be a make and break year for Dak. But Jerry will stick with them and say, it's the process. We got a new coach. So now we need to give the coach another 2nd year, 3rd year, 8th year.
8th year. He has 3 more years left on his deal, George. And he, let's see here, the cap hit this year is $50 million for Dak this year.
How do you sign Dak? How do you sign Micah?
I don't know.
That's a priority, though.
So, the teams that have done well recently, especially, are the teams that draft a quarterback not in the first round. There's only been one, I think, one quarterback drafted in the first round that won the Super Bowl that was with the original team in the last 20 years.
But think what he's going to tell you if he didn't draft Dak in the first round.
That's right.
Right. And they were pretty good for it until they started spending all that money on him, and they can't surround him like they should. To me, you got to, unless you're winning Super Bowls, you got to find the next guy. You can't pay a guy
Eagles have found their guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, and that's what, they were able to put people around them. And now, watch, it won't be as good in the next coming years. I think they'll be good this year because the receivers, I mean, they stole A.J. Walker, right?
A.J. Brown,
excuse me. A.J. Walker played Huntsville High School right here.
A little different.
Yeah.
A little different.
That's brain damage. Anyway, yeah, A.J. Brown, they were able to get him because he had a special relationship with a quarterback.
That's right.
So, it to me, and they're in the division, so they're playing them twice.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen all who they're playing, but George has, obviously. And I just think that they're and I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I want to see Dallas.
Well, the division itself, though, I mean, the Eagles feels like they've got it figured out. What Washington did last year as well, George, it does. I mean, I think the Giants are a mess. So you got that going for you. But is Dallas a bigger mess? I don't know that answer.
Well, I was hoping y'all didn't bring up the Eagles at all because that's a pain in our side. Talking about
I'm sorry,
the Eagles. So, yeah, I felt like that was kind of the setup, the toss by West to you or whatever. But anyway, I also need West, and you guys, your family, to perhaps maybe you guys can go take over the cap structure of the Cowboys and figure out this money thing that you're talking about, right? See how this actually works and happens. How, like you said, how can the Eagles or some other teams just seem like they just keep getting powerful people, big contracts, and not really have any repercussions of cap space? Somehow they're figuring that out. It seems like we're missing it, where I'm not saying, you know what I mean, that okay, you got to figure out how to keep Dak, CD, and what's the linebacker, Parsons,
Mike,
but you're still gonna have to, now you're gonna have potentially another corner that you're probably gonna want to keep. No one's talking about what Duran Bland is gonna probably need. They already paid our other guy, Diggs, the corner, so that there's a lot of pieces that it seems like you're going to have to be maneuvering this money around. It just seems like the Cowboys keep putting all the money in 1 year and not spreading it out somehow. And I don't know what that is. That seems like that's a financial piece that maybe we haven't figured out or we don't want to venture into.
Yeah. I mean, so does Jerry really want to win a Super Bowl, or does he just making so much money it doesn't matter? You know what I'm saying?
Well, Jerry's ultimate business man. Do I think he wants to win a Super Bowl? Yes. Is it the priority? I'm going to say not necessarily. In his office building, he has multiple businesses going on in the Dallas Cowboy headquarters. All of his land and all of his, the construction and the houses, and that's all done in there. So for disclosure, right, my daughter-in-law works as a CPA for the Dallas Cowboys, and she is on the non-football side. So, whoever even thought about that, right, that, hey, you got a whole nother office in there that's non-football. So he's spending time over there too, probably going, all right, yeah, I'm counting my parking passes and my over expensive suites. Dude, it costs $1 bazillion to park right next to the stadium. I think I found myself walking sometime too. Like, man.
Well, I would suggest if Jerry did spend some more time over there, it'd be a better chance to win the Super Bowl.
But he's an ultimate businessman. He got a ton of money. He makes a lot of money. He is he's a great marketer. How he sold us fans on winning the Super Bowl and thinking we're going to win it over the past 30 years. And we haven't even really.
No, I hadn't sniffed it.
Yeah.
I
mean, the biggest playoff moment that I can remember over the last 30 years, I'm probably not going to like it, is a botched snap by some guy who's now on CBS hanging out with Jim Nantz. So, I mean,
No, to me, Jerry needs to get out in front of a TV, quit doing, let us coaches coach, not be the guy that.
Oh, he'll hold some press conferences
he should
now.
be. I think he ought to hold a press conference once a year.
Oh, that ain't gonna happen.
Well, no, I just, I like Jerry. He was friends with Billy, and he has a place in Destin, and he used to play tennis with my dad, and of course they played against each other in college. So,
you need to be nicer to him, man. Come on.
I'm just. Hey, listen. I just call it like I see it. I mean, he is a brilliant businessman, and he's taking a lot of risk. And they said he was an idiot when he bought the Cowboys.
That's right.
And I was laughing. I said, "The guy, a good guy."
What's that?
I want your listeners to look this up so they can understand the mindset of what Jerry is. He's very clear with all his intentions. I don't think people really listen to what Jerry Jones says. He's not trying to do sleight of hand and all that. He actually said on TV just recently, you need to look it up, and maybe it was only shown here locally, that, hey, when he bought this team, it was for him to work it, own it, be all in front of it. He didn't buy it as a, just as an investment. It was to be fully involved. He just said this not too long. He said, hey, why I'm not stepping down. People need to stop talking to me about that because this is my toy. This is my baby. This is my Lego set. I bought these so I can be all in it and build whatever I want to do, tear it down, start all over again. He was very clear about that. I thought that was interesting that he just came out. I was like, man, y'all can say whatever y'all want to me about it, but I paid the money for it so that I can have fun. And this is my hobby.
And involve his family. Yeah. So there's a scene on Landman, which is a show with Billy Bob Thornton, was very popular. It's on Amazon, and Jerry's in it, and he does a scene, and it's very impressive, to be honest with you. And what he says, I believe, is what he thought, and he wanted to work with his children. And aren't they all involved with all his businesses?
Every single one of them.
And that's and he said that people think he did that to help them. And what he says is he did that because he was selfish and wanted to be around them. And if you listen to that.
The grandkids are bad people.
What is that, George?
The grandkids work for him as well.
Yeah.
So, and he talks about how he bought these oil wells when his daughter went to Stanford in California, and that's how he got the money. And he just did it so he have an excuse to work when he was out there. And he ended up being the biggest oil wells he had, and it paid for the Cowboys. Then he just wanted to be close to his daughter while she was in college. Anyway, it's very interesting. And you go back to that scene, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. You can find everything on YouTube. It tells the story. And when you see that scene, you kind of get why he's really doing it. And I think his loyalty to these players sometimes is to a detriment. What say you, George?
I 100% agree. And I probably shouldn't be saying that because I feel like he's loyal to me or very supportive of our family still, and I retired from there in 2002. But, he gives me access and opportunity to do things that, the Packers hadn't done or anybody else that I played for. So, I kind of have a soft spot for that where I'm not Troy Aikman, I'm not Emmitt Smith, I'm not Dion or Michael Irvin, any of those, but he gives me the same type of, stuff. Well, that's not true with the lot.
Well,
come on now.
George, I guarantee you one thing. None of them hit
come
their
on now.
lows on the damn.
I was about to say, protecting that star.
Yeah,
come on now.
Yeah. You're the protector of the star.
Yeah, come on.
Well, okay, maybe I should have said it with the access of, and I'm saying this seriously, not kidding around. Like, it. People with names in the Ring of Honor and things of that nature, there's just a different type of piece of respect and stuff that you get from ownership typically, right? But I'm thrilled, excited, humbled that I can actually call his daughter, like physically call her on the phone and ask her, hey, I need some shirts for a camp. I need 100 shirts. They send like 1,000, just not even ask, hey, I'd like to take my wife to the game or whatever in a suite or do something nice. Yeah, call this person. You know what I mean? So I get it. I know it's the star piece, but it's not what everybody else can do, because some guys, honestly, of my teammates will go, man, how do you get that? How I see you posting all this stuff about, dang, you didn't go to Pro Bowl. You didn't do, that. So I just feel humbled from that sense. But going back to what you're saying, I do think he can hold on to people too long. He's going to be loyal to a coach too long. He's going to be loyal to a player too long, because it gets in that emotional piece. And it probably goes back into what you're saying. He starts to pull everybody in like family. He get around Zeke and, man, he don't want to let her go. And I'm sure his son is like, dude, he got to go. Well, guess what? Zeke ends up back, like, nah, my son need to come back home. Sign him. I don't care. That kind of thing, and to a detriment. He shouldn't have signed Zeke to come back. Then it just doesn't work well. So I don't know if he can separate business from family players, that is, in a way that's going to actually progress us closer to a championship.
Finally, for me, George Teague, coming up at the top of the hour, Antonio Langham is joining us. Your best Antonio Langham story, sir.
Oh, God. Antonio Langham, there's so many of those. I'm trying to think of which way.
We have a dump button in case there's like a French story.
I'm saying this because this actually taught me something about Langham in a good way. When I had the opportunity to go home with him back to Town Creek, we were very close back in that day, and we would try to go to a bunch of people to houses and all this kind of stuff, because you never really know people's background. You hear about the goods and all the other kind of stuff. And, man, when I had the opportunity to actually go to the small little town and hang out there and see who he was and how he was treated, actually how his whole family, the cousins and everybody, is like they own the whole place. And for him to open up, be humble, and just kind of, allow me to be a part of that world, I think that helped our relationship as corner safety kind of deal, because then from there we started doing other things. Now we're going to Sam Shade's house, somewhere, right? And we're going to Tommy Johnson's place, and we're going to Mobile with Woody Gaston, and we're doing all this stuff, and he was kind of a catalyst for us to do that. So my story is that most people don't know. They see about the other stuff. Hey, he got caught up with the agent stuff or whatever it is. But the guy was a glue for our secondary, because he's silly. He laughs all the dang time. Tremendous player, but nobody worked harder than him on and off the field for us to really figure out how to be a great secondary.
You know why the Goos are half the population.
Town Creek. Yeah.
That is right. So, I kid about Langham just because he's I don't know. I was just with him for the Hall of Fame induction again down in Birmingham, and he's always laughing, man. It's just funny, and then you just say anything and he just busts out and he starts laughing.
He is, yes.
I love it.
He puts you in a good mood. There's no doubt about that.
Antonio, my dad went with went to Antonio's house. Of course, he was living with the Goods at the time, with Coach Stallings on his in-home visit. And Coach Stallings, dad went around to go in because he's a booster or whatever. He just picked up Coach Stallings and drove him to Town Creek from the airport. But Antonio, of course, knew him, went outside to say hello to him, And my dad said, "Will you hurry up and commit? I got to get home and eat."
Well, make sure you tell them I said hello, and
Absolutely.
Still looking for that signed jersey from him that I've been asking for since 1992. So
92.
I'm gonna get that jersey for you.
Well,
I'll shame him in it.
Yeah, we will make that happen. George Teague, thank you so much for the time, sir.
George, thanks so much. We're gonna check in with you about 3 or 4 weeks into the season.
Oh yeah.
See where we are.
I'm coming there. I'm gonna check in there because I've got to get me them wings. So as long as y'all don't
Yeah,
come on now.
You know, Sam Shade's here now.
Yeah, he's head coach at Alabama A&M.
Yeah, I know, and I got family there, so I got good reason. And my family lives in Madison, so I'm right up the street.
Come on.
Yeah, we'll get you some wings.
Yeah, come on anytime. Open invitation.
Yeah, bring your beautiful wife too.
I got you, man. Done deal. We'll see you soon.
See you.
That is George Teague, kind enough to join us. We need to take our final time out here of hour number 1. As mentioned, Antonio Langham joins us at the top of the hour. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly clouded overcast sky this afternoon. Pair that with a couple of scattered showers across the Tennessee Valley, and we're talking about a cooler afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s, dropping into the upper 50s, lower 60s as we head into the overnight. We're going to maintain the opportunity for a little bit of rain during that time period. Rain is going to stay in the forecast in some capacity through much of Thursday afternoon. A mostly clouded overcast sky, though it does look like we are going to be a little bit warmer. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hold your block until the whistle blows.
From SEC Media Days to the National Championship game.
This was a great team win.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Well, a short segment here before we welcome in Antonio Langham. So this is your NBA segment because I've been watching the NBA playoffs. Did you see what the Pacers did last night? The Indiana Pacers pulled off another impossible win as they were trailing 119 to 112 in the final minute of play. Tyrese Halliburton stealed it with a go-ahead three with 1.1 seconds, and Indiana has now won 6 of its first 7 games of this postseason, first time since 2004. Get this stat. Since 1998, teams are 3 and 1,641 when trailing by 7 or more points in the final minute of the fourth quarter or overtime. I said 3 and 1,641. 2 of those 3 wins belong to Indiana.
The last 2 games.
Crazy.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Heard,
did it to the Cavaliers, did it to the Bucks.
Heard it. The Czar was talking about it, had a guy on.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah.
He was talking NBA?
Yeah, because Cleveland, yeah.
Is he a Cleveland fan?
Yeah.
Oh, I know he's a Browns fan.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that made him a Cavs fan.
I think the guy he had on was from Cleveland. I'm not sure.
Okay, so it's therapy session.
Yeah, so it was, anyway.
He's a Browns fan. That's why he's in a bad mood.
Perpetually.
Yeah, that's good reason for that. I mean, you talk about somebody. They got 5 quarterbacks.
Oh goodness!
And I don't think they can win with any of them.
How about that answer from George Teague on why Dallas didn't pick?
Well, I think
Deion's kid. I mean,
there are lots of reasons, and that's one of them. That's why he slid so bad. Nobody wants to put up with that stuff and have, the press listening to how Shedeur should start, and that creates a lot of animosity among teammates. It's hard to win in the NFL when you have good players, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you got to put a team together, they got to be a team. It can't be a bunch of individuals out there. And you see those teams that you can tell when you watch them if they're just playing to get a paycheck or they're really playing.
NBA action tonight. In fact, it's going on right now. Well, getting ready to tip it up is the Knicks and the Celtics as Boston looking to bounce back after losing in overtime to the New York Knicks. And then later on tonight, Nuggets at Oklahoma City. We kind of chronicled that series yesterday with Scott Hastings. We'll see where that series lands. Antonio Langham joins us in 3 minutes.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Is Sports Center. I think to look at Eastern Conference semis continue tonight. Knicks and Celtics. New York overcame a 20-point deficit to come back and win game one. They're looking to win the first two games of a playoff series on the road for the first time since 1999. New York has never won a series against a team that swept them in the regular season. Boston won all four matchups by an average of 16 points. Celtics missed 45 threes in game one on 60 attempts, both most in a playoff game since ESPN began tracking in 2014. Kristaps Porzingis left game one due to illness in the second quarter. He will play tonight coming in off the bench. Celtics minus 10.5 on ESPN Bet. Meanwhile, the Warriors monitoring the status of star Steph Curry. Left last night's win with a hamstring injury. He'll be out for at least a week. ESPN's Monica McNutt on how Golden State moves forward.
Curry's going to get into his bag in terms of building around Jimmy Butler. If the others, Podziemski, Hield, the whole gang, continue to support, this is still going to be a very formidable opponent. It really lies at the feet of the Wolves in terms of are they going to capitalize on this team without Stephen Curry.
McNutt on Get Up. Curry had 13 points in 13 minutes last night. In the NFL, George Pickens traded to the Cowboys. Dallas making a deal to add to their offense. Pittsburgh acquiring a third-round pick in 2026 and a swap of fifth and sixth rounders in 2027. Pickens entering the final year of his rookie contract. Dallas not planning to extend him.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Thursday, the Cavs are down 0-2 to the Pacers. So do they have any hope to make this a series, or should they be booking their flights to Cancun? We'll talk about it on Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
SEC softball tournament going on as we speak in Athens, Georgia. Alabama a winner last night over Auburn as they will move on. Right now it is the Florida Gators taking on Ole Miss. That game is tied at 3 in the bottom of the 7th. And they've got runners on the corners and 2 out. So the situation here for Florida to walk it off potentially in this second round matchup. Anyway, we're walking you up to Braves baseball as well. Braves now 1 win away from climbing out of that 7-game losing streak out of the gate. They are 17-18 overall. In fact, the Reds are 1 game under 500 as well. It's Grant Holmes against Hunter Green as we'll join that in progress because we're live here at Baumhower's Victory Grill. Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton here with you. And we just got through enjoying a conversation with George Teague on the trade of Pickens from the Steelers to the Cowboys, among other things, including finding out some info on our next guest as well. Hit it for me, Brian.
Tell him I said hello, and that I'm still looking for that signed jersey from him that I've been asking for.
So, Coach Colley, I mean, he said he's been asking for this signed jersey since 1992.
Hello, Wes.
I told him I was going to have to get it for him.
Let me tell you something, man. Joy C come in town for the Hall of Fame induction this weekend, and he doesn't tell me. I had to walk in the room, in the hospitality room, and see him in there. So if he wanted a jersey that bad, he would have informed me that he was coming in town this weekend, and he would have had his jersey handed to him at the Saturday night. But he didn't say anything. But I guess it's my fault. I guess if I went on social media enough, I could know wherever he's going, because he lets you know that all the time.
Hey, it's been a long time since '92, though.
That's been a minute. That's been a minute.
Yeah, he didn't ask for no jersey at '92.
No, he said that you were the glue.
Yeah,
that kept them together
and took them to Town Creek as well.
Did he tell you what he did for us?
Oh, he said he liked you anyway.
Did he tell you what he did for us?
He did not.
No, he did not.
Finish the rest of the story, Paul Harvey.
All right. Well, he wanted to do a team bonding thing, so he took all the guys to Montgomery, and he said we were going to have he was taking us to Montgomery. We were going to have a big cookout and all that. So it was a Saturday. It rained most of that morning. When it stopped raining, we loaded up. Me, myself, Willie Gaston, Sam, Shade, all of us. We loaded up. Some other guys. We took off to Montgomery. We went to Montgomery looking for a barbecue and just have a good time. We still had a good time, but it was the barbecue. We were brought to Montgomery to a chitlin dinner. Hey, let me say it correctly. Chitlins.
So what you're saying is they had y'all were a day late on the barbecue because they ate barbecue.
A day late on that. He forgot.
Yeah.
He got to put the schedule together. He had the days wrong.
Oh boy.
That's my man Glue. That's my man Glue.
Tell me about the ceremony there, Hall of Famer. What was that like?
Oh man, it was nice, man. Well, of course, it was very exciting because I said George was to the left of me, George T. He was to the left of me, and then I had the very infamous and world-renowned and world-known Jerry Duncan to my right. So of course, you know how that went.
Yeah.
You know how that went most of the time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed every moment of sitting beside him. But
so this was the Alabama Hall of Fame, though, right?
Yeah, Alabama Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And so what did they put Kerry in? Who did they put in?
Kerry's already in.
Fuck. They put you in?
I went in and
that's what I thought. Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. You better.
Yeah, Mark Ingram went in, but that inductees back. Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
Mark Ingram went in this year, so this who went in. Yeah, they just invited us back. Bobby was there. Bobby Humphrey was there. So it was a few people. There was a few guys, Alabama guys there. So
was Coach Saban there?
No, I didn't see old Nicholas.
Nicholas. I mean, because you would think that I would think he would be. Who's the one that did anybody?
He's too busy hanging out with the president.
Yeah. It's so. That lawyer got mad in California.
Yeah, that's right.
Because Coach Saban said they were going to fix it with and he said they need to mind their own business.
Well, Ross Dellinger reported today that President Trump is planning on creating a commission on college athletics.
That means it would take years to get this done.
Yeah, I saw that. That lawyer said that Saban was meddling.
Yeah, meddling with his paycheck. Yeah.
He said the attorney said the niggas meddling, and he had no right to be meddling in the NIL business. I was like, the man was coaching when they started talking about the NIL. He was on the board when they put the NIL in place. How's he meddling? But
Yeah, well, yeah, he's meddling with his paycheck.
There it is.
He's going to get like $1 billion or something crazy like that. 600 million. I think it's between 600 million and $1 billion. The attorneys are.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
That was me. I would say y'all meddling too.
I'd be over there. Yeah. But that's the only thing that's going to get it fixed, though. Because if they have to have a way to keep from being sued, and not that they're. And I think that they're going to have to collective bargain to happen.
It's still going to come because if he signed if the president signed that executive order and put it into play, every attorney in America will file a lawsuit.
They're going to file a lawsuit anyway.
They're going to file a lawsuit.
The commission is expected to include college sports stakeholders. I don't know what that means. Prominent business people with deep connections to college football, and perhaps even a former coach and or an administrator.
Yeah, I think they need to leave administrators at home.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's probably very qualified administrators that I don't know about.
Yeah, what are they going to hire the playoff committee? If that's the case, we're in some real trouble.
So, Antonio, were you at? Did you go to any practices this spring?
No, I didn't go to one practice. Not one.
I didn't either. They have them at 8:30 in the morning. The scrimmages.
Yeah, I know it. And I caught one practice last season. I had to go to Tuscaloosa for something, and I didn't realize we had a break in between. I didn't realize that they practiced at 9 o'clock in the morning around that time. So I went by the museum, and then they said they were practicing. So I shot over and watched a little practice during the season. But I didn't catch one practice this spring. I didn't catch a practice. I didn't go to 8A. I mean, when they told us it wasn't really going to be an 8A, it was just going to be a practice. I said, oh, well.
And I don't think, everybody got that same memo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was ball games.
They got to rethink all that, I think.
Yeah.
I think
all based upon the fact they're worried about people seeing the spring games on TV and then coming after their players, right? That's what
exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Although Deion wanted to play another team in the spring, and the NCAA said, nope, that's not happening.
Well, but then you don't have it's not like if you play the other team, they're not going to, it's the same thing.
I know.
That doesn't make any sense.
No. But here's the problem. The problem, though. Didn't Deion and some other coaches find a loophole in some of the NCAA rules or something that allows them to be able to play another team if they want to in the spring? If other team agrees to?
Yeah, I'm not sure about it.
Yeah, I think they found a loophole some kind of way where these guys can play each other but they say no to one thing and when they should be saying no to a lot of other stuff. You saying no to a spring game, who cares? It's just like high school and playing a different team. What's the difference? It's just a spring game. But you worried about saying no to a spring game when you're opening up the portal twice a year. You allow them close the portal. Don't open. Well, if you don't want to do that, play no spring game, then don't open the portal until after the bowl season over with. After the national championship game over with, then open the portal. Do that.
So yeah, I think that I don't think they ought to open the. I think if they just got the hold of the portal thing, right? In other words, if they just got a hold of that would go a long way to fixing a lot of this.
It would. Getting the grip on that portal would fix a lot of the stuff that's going on, but they don't. And the crazy part about it, you got this 12-team playoff going, and then you still got guys. You open up the portal at a certain time, and then you still got starters. You still have starters that's on and teams in the playoff that are still asking for money.
I mean that's why it all has to be fixed at the. They have to have contracts, and they have to be able to. And the contracts just can't be one way, right?
Right.
It's like the opposite of the NFL. The NFL contract's pretty much one way, right? and
Right.
and the college is the other way. Yeah, right. It's just,
Right.
and I think they're going to go after some of these people for the, and they should get their money back. Everybody wants it to be a business until it goes against them, right?
But I do wonder what
Right.
that's going to do recruiting wise to say Arkansas.
What it's going to do is that you can't leave.
I would imagine maybe those are the kids maybe you don't want on your team.
Well, no, I mean, so what do you, I mean,
I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, if they're going to leave, you want to give them something to think about, right? They don't want these kids to leave. They didn't want that kid to leave. And he leaves because he thinks he's not going to have to pay the money back. And until they enforce it, it'll keep the rest of them from leaving. I mean, it's not going to keep you from signing with Arkansas. They're all going to have to do that because the boosters are the one giving the money, and they're not going to give you the money. And then they give it to, hey, we got this good player. We need this money. They give it to him, and then the player leaves and takes the money. What's the booster going to do next time you go and need the money?
Right.
If you have to have something it has to be a two-way street. And I think the only time you should be able to leave in the first 2 years that you're in school is when the coach leaves. And I think it ought to be a performance type thing. Hey, if you play this many snaps, this many things for the young guys.
You mean NIL?
Yeah,
what NIL should be?
Yes.
What?
Well, yeah, but I think the school ought to pay them something. But I think it ought to be performance based. In other words, I don't think they used to give these high school kids the money. They haven't done anything. Nothing.
I agree with that. I agree. Show me you're worth your weight in gold before I start just giving you some money. But I'm so over the NIL stuff, man, and over that. And I'm not against the kids getting paid. I'm just against the way the direction it has gone. It's taken now. It's used now. It's using it as a leveraging tool now, guys. It's using as free agency now. You go and you have a good season, then you get in the portal. I'm gonna get in the portal, see who's gonna offer me some more money. If I don't like what I was offered to me, I'm just gonna go back to my original school and tell them this. And then now they're gonna be scrambling, trying to get some more money up to keep me there. I don't get it. I just never thought I'd see the day when college football would get to the point where guys can really negotiate what they want. But I think if they start telling these schools and these kids, hey, he leave and he decided to come there, then you got to buy this contract out. They'll leave him alone for a while, then they'll sit down somewhere. Make it be like NFL. Buy the contract out. You want him? Buy the contract out. You buy the contract out, you can have it.
Yeah, and I think that exactly. I agree with all that. I think it should be a 2-year deal, performance-based. You can sign real NIL deals. You can sign all you want, that real NIL. Name, image, and likeness. If nobody wants to do a commercial, you're free to do any of that. They sell your jersey, you're free to get money for that. The real NIL, you get a salary, that everybody gets the same thing on that. And then after 2 years, then you become a free agent. But the school that, like you're saying, has to be bought out of the contract. They have to get something for developing you for 2 years, right? And now, if the school and him agree, and they agree to release them for nothing, then that's a business decision the school make because it's not just working out. But if it's like a starter that they really want, they want compensation for it. This is not really that hard. You use a college model with a pro model, but you got to have, to keep the attorneys from suing everybody, you got to have some standing, and that's what the Congress is going to have to do to make this happen. Or they're just going to sue saying that antitrust, this or that. And, there's so many rules that affect college. Title IX, which I think is a good thing. I always thought it was a good thing. I don't agree with the football part where walk-ons count as scholarships. I think that's a bunch of BS there. But other than that, I think Title IX is a good deal.
I was just about to ask you and Wes, you and Steve that, man, what y'all think about this new deal with it's got to only be 105 guys and they all got to be scholarship guys?
Well, I mean, they're pretty much, I think that's up in the air. And I'm going to tell you why, Antonio. You know, the judge that's deciding all this stuff is in California. It's a lady judge, and she's concerned about walk-ons, and that's why they keep delaying it.
Yeah.
Right.
She wants to implement gradually implement.
Well, basically, that the current walk-ons
are grandfathered in. So they would not be kicked out.
So that's what they're discussing, whether that really happens or not. It's a lot up in the air, but I guarantee you that attorney that would say they're meddling means he's concerned because it keeps getting delayed, and if Congress and President Trump are able to do something, it pretty much cuts them out, and that lawsuit will go to the wayside.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the concern is, and there you go. So hopefully they can get something done with all this. That's for sure. But I think it's fairly straightforward how to do it. If your coach leaves, then the players can leave, right? That's all that what I just said's out the window. But other than that, but the school would still have to be if they didn't release them. If it wasn't like they didn't agree, then the school needs to be compensated in some manner. So for developing the players, because that costs, there's a lot goes in, as you know, Antonio, there's a lot of people working behind the scenes to develop you, from the training staff to the weight staff to the
You gonna throw in the tutors?
Well, yeah. Well, I had the one tutor, and as I said, and Antonio knows him. You know who my tutor is, right?
That's why I brought up the word tutor to you.
My degree should be like a painting, and he should have.
Daniel Moore.
Yeah, and he was the painter. He should have signed. His name should be on the bottom of my degree. No question. I don't even pretend otherwise. It's whole cut. Did you know that, Antonio?
I know that.
That's how we met. He was my tutor. Yeah. He still tutored me.
He said everything but that.
Yeah.
The power of a good tutor.
Yeah, well, he's one of my best friends to this day.
I know
He's friends with Antonio as well, so yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't tutor me. But he
just knowing who not to take in school.
It's huge.
That's
huge. That's huge.
He had a system that was, it was unbelievable.
I had 2 semesters that I wish I had back just because of
my first semester
taking some wrong classes.
Yeah, my first, I didn't get him to my.
Not that I'm a 4.0 student anyway, but
I met him on spring break. In Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
Wow.
He had a pink bandana and Mickey Mouse glasses on when I met him. That became, I looked at him right away. I said, that's going to be my tutor. No, he just said he's in business school and he could help me just because I was complaining because some of the professors I had were horrible. One of them was a Chinese dude, which is, I don't have no problem with that if you can speak English. I just couldn't understand them. Nobody could. So yeah, and it became a thing where he helped me fill out my schedule. I was in business school. It wasn't an easy deal, that's for sure. And I think there were 3 of us in business school at the time, and off the team. So yeah. Anyway, he helped me tremendously. And I still, me and him became really close.
I know.
And you know that.
I know.
So
no,
you spent some time around. He's a funny guy too.
Yes, he is. I know when you're missing, he's available. He's running the show, so I know.
Yeah.
We need to get him on.
No.
No.
He'll never get.
The word is no.
No. He can't quit talking. I guarantee you got on the air, he'd have trouble. He was with us though Had a show on Bourbon Street.
He turned and I met him, and then I said, "Hey, we're on at 5."
And he was done.
Never showed up.
Yeah, because I told
It
him
was Bourbon Street.
He goes,
so.
"I'm gonna tell some stories." I said, "Okay, Joe, you tell all the stories you want. You'll get 10 minutes on. I'll talk about you for the next 2 years." he stayed at the bar,
and I could not prevent that conversation from happening.
Yeah,
Coach
Power
Yeah.
Man, who has the mic the most wins.
That's the truth.
So what do you got going on this summer? You going to make a trip up here to North Alabama anytime soon?
Yeah, man, I'm going to get up there. I told you I'm going to get up there and come in the studio, man.
Well, we're ready.
You name it, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, man, so.
And just bring the signed jersey. Just bring the signed jersey, and we'll facilitate that.
George says he has family here.
in Madison.
Yeah, and he said he's coming here. So
come on.
We need to get him. You will get 5 iron.
Hey.
And
5 iron. Hey, listen, man. I just got to tell y'all this. So I get a phone call from a former player to play the ball, but he said, "Man, we had T come speak to the Red Elephant Club." I said, "Oh yeah." He said, "Yeah, man. He came in, man. He did a good job, man." I said, "All right, good." I said, "That's cool." I said, "What did he talk about?" He said, "George brought his computer and he hooked up to the screen, and he said George's speech, he was going over coverages with the people like they gonna go play." Really, man? See right here, they in cover 2. Your corners are playing in the flash. Your safeties are half field, safeties over the top. You get can you imagine some of these people watching the game and they say, "Man, they went in cover 2 then. Safeties went over the top." But one safety rolled down in the box. That ain't right.
Goodness gracious.
Oh God! What do they call that when one safety rolls up? I mean, obviously it's
he really cover 3.
Yeah.
That's real.
Number 3, I guess he becomes a robber in the way the terminology used to be when I was there. What do they call it now?
He ain't really no robber. He called it. He just rolling down in the box. He's a curl flat defender in the passing game. So he dropped to the curl first, and then nothing there, and then go to the flat. He worked there. The curl flat defender in cover 3. Now sometimes he may have to roll down and play man to man.
Yeah. And it's a double if he's like the 6th or 7th defensive back, and none of those guys can tackle. That's what and they run a draw, and that's when you see the uh-ohs.
Yeah,
I used to drive me crazy when I forgot who the coach of Alabama at one time was after you played, and before Wesley played, they'd run the extra defensive back in that couldn't tackle. We have 7 defensive back. They sure as ever they'd run
I appreciate that
sure as ever. Yeah, they'd run a draw and he'd miss the tackle every time. I'd just drive me crazy. I said, at least because he couldn't cover anybody either. So why not keep the guy in that at least could tackle on the draw?
And we call it in coaching when the ones that you bring in and don't want to tackle, don't want to hit nobody. We call them DWI.
What does that stand for?
Don't want it.
Don't want it. Don't want it. That's the truth.
Don't want it. Don't want it.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's fantastic.
They don't want it. They don't want no parts of that. Don't want it.
So I will try. As soon as you tell me you're coming up here, I will try to get George Teague on the horn and we can just have a full show with you, sir, and a few others. Yeah. Come on now.
I want George on there. I want Mustang on there. I want 5 iron fight. I want 5 iron fight on there, but we can't ask 5 iron no question because it's gonna take him too long to answer.
See, he knows.
Yeah, he knows.
He knows. We'll just coordinate and we'll make this happen. All right, Coach Colley?
That'll work.
Hey, Antonio, good talking to you. Come see me.
Hey, good. I won't come to see you, man. Good to talk to y'all guys, man.
All right, sounds good.
Antonio Langham, and he will bring that signed jersey. We are going to facilitate this from 1992, according to George Teague. Been asking for this signed jersey.
You know, I want to go ahead and say, if you guys are going to have that many people here, that group, we're going to need a second dump button.
Yeah, well,
Might very well be.
Yeah.
We may have to have it live 3 to 5 and then re-rack it.
Tape it.
5 to 7.
Recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Correct. Correct. Let's go ahead and take our first time out. We're live here at Baumhower's Victory Grill. Final call for phone calls as the Braves are already trailing 2-0 to the Redlegs.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ford Motor Company. From America, for America. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford with a real quick quiz. Out of all the manufacturers, do you know which auto company employs the most hourly workers in America? Ford. Do you know which company assembles the most vehicles in this country? Ford. That's not just a coincidence. It's a commitment. A 120-year-old commitment to build in America for America. And during this unprecedented moment in automotive history, you stand to benefit big time. Woody Anderson Ford is now offering employee pricing. You pay what we pay. We've got over 190 F-150s for you to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Employee pricing can save you thousands off MSRP, and with over 600 Fords for you to choose from, there's a good chance you'll find just exactly what you're looking for. This offer ends May 31st, so hurry in. Woody Anderson Ford.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Attention, may I have the camp's attention?
Your home of the college football playoffs.
Playoffs?
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Playoffs?
Final call for phone calls as we're live here from Baumhower's Victory Grill, 256-576-4977. People have told me I say that too fast, so I'll say it again. 256-576-4977. The Florida Ole Miss softball game still going on. It's now bottom of the 8th. Still tied at, or actually, Ole Miss is up 6-3. So it is do or die time here for the Florida Gators, as now the bases are full of Gators there in the softball tournament. We were talking with Ray Dog here during the break, and the subject of grandkids was brought up. And I've got somewhere I'm going here with this. Have you ever given your phone to one of your grandkids?
Not got it back with any charge left.
Well, there is a woman who had a different kind of charge on her phone. Yeah.
A massive dum-dum drop at Holly LaFavor's front door via Amazon. 70,000 suckers on the porch. LaFavor says her son made the purchase on her Amazon app. She says she tried to stop the order before it came to her house, but it was too late. And then she checked her bank account.
I just panicked. And then when I saw what the number was, I just about fainted.
She's on the hook for more than $4,000. The order was so large, she's had to put some of it in her garage.
This was just a fluke thing that happened.
$4,200 worth of dum-dums.
Well, that's
that'll solve giving your phone to anybody.
Well, I'm telling you, I got the way to get rid of it. Somebody needs a caller. You know, they got these people that provide like they'll go to every I want to say you told them not around convenience store, gas stations, and they actually they put the stuff in there so you can sell it back to them for probably what they paid for it. Anyway, probably
hope Holly LaFavors is her name.
LaFavors,
LaFavors, that is her name. So there you go. Yeah, $4,200 worth of dum-dums.
Yeah, well,
courtesy of her young son.
That obviously,
dude wanted a dum-dum.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know, I wonder if he said dum-dums and that popped up on Amazon, and he was just hitting it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, we have voice-activated stuff now. Because see, now you can say, "Hey, Alexa, play 977 ESPN."
Yeah.
Hey Siri, download the 97.7 ESPN app.
Yeah, you have to enable it. The skill
and my
or whatever.
phone immediately popped up with it here, right here.
Boom.
Thank you, Siri. You know, Wes, you were talking about being in business school and having a tutor, and it helped you get manage that. It was about a lot of it was about class selection and course selection, right?
100%.
We had that problem at Jacksonville State, where the and I'll leave the names out to protect the less than innocent. But the head of the department, the communications department at the time, we tried to avoid being in his classes. And after about a year or so, he caught on. So they would just say it was staff by staff. It wouldn't be the professor, it'd be staff. So we used to call, looks like the schedule has a staph infection again.
Well, that's my whole the staph infection.
There's a staph infection.
Yeah,
and we all knew it was Dr. C. And those of you, if you know who I'm talking about.
The old staph infection.
Yeah. But on the other side, we always went after Dr. Hemlinger because he was our journalism professor, and I'm still using stuff he taught me years ago.
Well, you get a good one.
And
you'll never forget
Dr. TJ was one of the best.
Yeah, I had some of the best teachers, and I can't remember their names now, but I used the things they taught me every day, to this day.
Of course,
Professor McKenzie was a big one for me.
Dr. TJ would also show up Friday and Saturday nights and consume large quantities of my bourbon. So
it's more than one way to pass class.
He had the nerve to give me a C. I guess I should have had better bourbon.
Yeah.
Age that a little bit better.
Unscrew
Ole
the cap
Miss.
and let it breathe.
Ole Miss is your winner in extras, and Alabama takes on South Carolina later on tonight, and we'll see if the Crimson Tide can move on the softball side of things. But you can watch the softball as well as some Atlanta Braves baseball, as well as what the Dodgers are destroying the Marlins right now, as well as watching some NBA playoffs with the Knicks taking on the Celtics. It's all right here at Baumhower's Victory Grill. That is going to wrap us up. It is time for some Braves baseball. Let's see if they can't rally down 2-0. Top of the second, Ben Ingram will be the next voice you hear after our final timeout. A big thank you to Baumhower's Victory Grill. As Brian mentioned, be sure and download our app. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store.
Hey, Siri, download the 977 ESPN app.
That's it. That's what you got to do. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here on The Drive. Good night.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation.